Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Esoterica, our continuing series where I review every single Capcom CP, CP System Dash, CPS2, and CPS3 game ever made, and today we're looking at one of the heavy hitters, and that is Strider. Before I get too far involved, if you can do me a huge favor, go down below and hit like and subscribe, ring that notification bell, definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, we got a Patreon link down there as well. But Strider is an absolute classic of a game, and it is beloved by a ton of people. And while I absolutely do love this game, I will say that I've never been the greatest at it. I've always struggled a little bit with the controls, and that just comes down to the way that Strider actually jumps in the game. You really have to be planning what you're doing ahead of time. That's not to say that I don't like this game, I really do. I'm just saying that I've never been great at it. So maybe my opinion is a little bit colored by that fact. But it is amazing on the Capcom Play System. It came over to the Genesis. There's a copy for the PlayStation 1 that includes Strider 2 in it as well. So there are a ton of different ways to play this game, so if you never have, you definitely should. What I really do appreciate about the game is that there's a ton of verticality going on. You're constantly climbing up a wall, down a wall, sliding, running, jumping. Standing still is the one thing that you usually don't do in this game, and it's definitely not advised because when you're standing still, you're definitely going to start taking some damage. But I will say right off the top, this is a very hard, challenging game, and in some points in time, it feels punishing because unlike other Capcom arcade games and arcade games in general, when you die in this game, you get sent back a little bit, so you can definitely get stuck in a spot that you just struggle in over and over again, and that's unusual for arcade games. Normally, you just respawn where you are, and when there's a console version, it will kick you back so you don't beat the game too quickly. Strider is just 100% saying, no, if you don't beat this area, you're going to have to get back to it again to be able to fight the boss or do whatever it is that you were doing. And I love these little story cuts in between as well. They give you just enough. You know, you have the Soviet Union here, there's a little bit of mysticism going on. It's a good enough story that it's going to be really interesting, and some of the pixel art photos that you're going to see are just kind of hilarious. There's some really mangled looking people in there in a good way and in an intentional way. You'll see here as we moved on, we're now in Siberia and we're fighting wolves, and this game is constantly throwing something new and unique to look at you. Because as soon as we get through here, there's a giant mechanical gorilla, ape, I'm not sure, chimpanzee, we'll just go with an ape. And it's just weird, and it's fun, and it's challenging, and that's what's really great about this game. The soundtrack is also excellent. It's constantly changing up the environments and the stages. Some things like that, the fire that comes out of the gorilla monkey ape guy, whatever animal he really is, I don't think that it should damage you, but that's just my opinion, because you'll see there we just get 3 hits, and then we die. The game will slow itself down on occasion and make you do some precise platforming, and it's not the hardest thing in the world. You definitely need to be on your button presses, but as long as you are, you're going to do pretty well at that. But you'll see here, now we're going to the left and we're moving up. It's got a great platform feel to it for being a side-scrolling action game, and I think Capcom, as far as their side-scrolling action games are concerned, this is definitely one of the best. Now you'll see here we need to run down this slope, and at a certain point in time, we're going to have to jump or else we will die. And there's definitely action set pieces in the game that are going to require that of you. Sometimes they feel a little bit like you didn't have enough warning, but trust me, if you're running downhill in this game, you should be prepared to jump, because if there is no pit and you jump, it's not going to be that big of a deal. If there was a pit and you didn't jump, you die and you will be sent back. So rule of thumb, just always anticipate having to jump if you're running down a slope. And you'll see here, now that we've gotten through this little electrical area, we're now on this kind of hover, I don't even know what it is. Is it a helicopter? Is it a plane? Who knows? Doesn't matter. It does not. But we're moving up now into a different stage, and I just love that the game gives you just a little bit of a pause after that heavy action to be able to get to the next area. But you will see here, the game can be challenging. I have to try to get up onto this little area, and if you get hit at the wrong time, it'll just throw you through a platform. Do I think Strider should have just stopped on that bottom platform versus, just going right through it? I definitely do. And that's where sometimes this game can feel slightly punishing to me, but it's not so bad that it's really going to give you too much hell. And now that we're on to the next boss battle again, I would say that the bosses more often than not are easier than getting to them. It takes a lot of energy and time to get to a boss. When you actually get there, they really aren't the hardest thing in the world to fight. Now, they definitely get harder as you go on further into the game, but right now they're really not terrible. What I'm going to do after this little cutscene is I'll let you guys watch the next portion of the stage and listen to the soundtrack, because it is one of the best ones that Capcom's made for the system, and I really enjoy it. But again, these little storylines in here, it's just enough to make you wonder what's going on, because the story is really good. But enjoy the next stage, and I'll be back in about a minute and tell you more about why you should play Strider. And right there is a perfect example of where sometimes this game drives me nuts. It gives you a path that you can go down, you step on the wrong thing and it locks you in, throws you to the right, and kills you. And in a game where you're throwing quarters in, I don't love the fact that it's trying to kill you for no good reason. I mean, I get it, it's a design choice, and it's kind of funny just to watch Strider be thrown to his death. But if you're in the arcade and you lost a credit because of that, you might be slightly annoyed. Obviously, because I'm playing this on the MiSTer, it doesn't matter. I'm not actually putting real quarters into the machine. But that's one area in which this game I don't understand from a design decision standpoint, is to just artificially kill you when you didn't make a technical mistake, you just made a pathway mistake. But now that we're fighting this giant glowing gold orb and we're floating around him in zero gravity, I'm forgiving the game of killing me a minute ago because I'm having so much fun playing it. And you'll see that the stage is now blowing up and we need to start moving really quick. And again, like I said, always be prepared to jump, because I forgot to jump there. I just pushed the button too late and I fell to my death. And that's going to be a constant in the game, is that you're just going to fall and die wherever you are if you're not paying close enough attention. But we cleared the stage again, and we're getting to that character portrait I love so much. The guy in the hood with the finger looks like this. And I think that looks like The Rock if The Rock got a little bit too close to some nuclear waste. But short of that, moving right on to the next stage, now we're going to be dealing with dinosaurs. And each stage is giving you something new and something fresh. And since the soundtrack in this stage is slightly different, listen to it for 30 seconds. It is quite good and unique, and I'll be back and we'll finish out on the Strider game. But enjoy. And again, I warned you to jump, which is saying I warned myself to jump, but at least there when you do die unfairly, you get eaten by piranhas and it's kind of funny. This game has a definite Kaizo Mario feel to it. If you've never played one of those games, it's basically an ultra challenging version of Mario, and it's meant to kill you in exciting, new, and funny ways, and Strider definitely has that vibe going on. Now, like I said, because I'm not putting quarters in it, I don't mind so much, but right here, I got pushed through the level by the boss and game overed, and if that happened in arcades, I would have been definitely irritated. You're definitely going to take some cheap deaths when you play Strider, but that's not to say it's not worth checking out, because it's an absolute classic. It's just sometimes I feel like the game is fighting against you, but it has everything I enjoy. It's challenging, the art is great, the soundtrack is awesome, you have all these fun little story elements, and you definitely get what I think is The Rock in there as well, even if The Rock wasn't really The Rock back in 1990. But if you've never played Strider, definitely check it out. If you have played it, leave me some thoughts down below, because maybe it's just a game that I don't click with as much, because I really enjoy it, but as far as my favorite games on this platform, it definitely doesn't crack the top 5 for me. But short of that, thanks so much for watching, guys. We'll be back next week with another episode in this review series. And like I mentioned before, do me a huge favor, go down below, like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. It definitely helps us out. But if you're looking for a challenge and you've never played Strider, now you should go play it. Bye-bye.